Coming up on Oakdale Update, we'll chat with former Assistant City Administrator Dave Schaps. We'll learn about holiday recycling and we'll preview some upcoming events in the city. Stay tuned, Oakdale Update is straight ahead. Hello and welcome to Oakdale Update. I'm your host, Frank Orsello. This is the City of Oakdale's news and information program about your community. Dave Schaps worked for the City of Oakdale for the past 9 years, first as an intern and recently as the Assistant City Administrator. Dave is my guest in the studio today to talk about his time with the city and what his future plans are. Dave, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Thanks for having me, Frank.
It was hard to get to you, but we got to you.
Yes.
Okay, David, tell us about yourself now.
Yeah.
How old are you, first of all?
I'm 33.
33, okay.
33.
Give us your background a little bit.
Yes, I'm originally from Litchfield, Minnesota, and then went to undergrad at Gustavus Adolphus College. I got a degree in political science, and then I went to Hamlin and got a graduate degree in public administration after that, after graduating from Gustavus. My first job actually was working for the House of Representatives, and I was attached to the local government committee, so I got to see a lot of city issues. And then was hired as an intern with the City of Oakdale, and then actually decided that I wasn't done with my formal education, and I went back and I did the Hamlin School of Law weekend program, and so I went back to law school on weekends and worked at the City of Oakdale.
You crammed all that in the first, 20 years of your life?
It was a very busy time. It was a very busy time.
All right, now how did it happen that you came to Oakdale?
It was very interesting, actually, because I had not had Craig Waldron as a professor.
You are the only one that didn't.
I had not yet.
Okay.
And so, actually, I had called my advisor, David Schultz, after I had worked at the House of Representatives. I wanted to get into municipal government. I enjoyed my time serving the House Local Government Committee, and he came up with a couple of different internship possibilities, and so I called around. Craig Waldron called me right back and said, "We've got an internship opportunity coming up. Would you like to come in and interview next week?" And was able to get the internship, and the rest is kind of history.
Without him, with you not having him as an instructor, how did he know about you, or did he must have got some glowing reports, is that correct?
He may have, yeah. He might have talked to David Schultz prior to that, but just went in and interviewed for the position and just talked about my desire to work in local government and work on municipal issues, and had a little bit of experience in that, and so I was able to get the internship and come aboard with Oakdale.
What was your attraction to local government?
I think it's the opportunity to work on the local level with people in the community. My father is actually a public defender, just recently retired after 34 years of service. My mom is a nurse case manager, so there's a very strong service base that comes from our family, and so that's what I wanted to do, was help people in the local community and be able to see the effect of what I was doing. And so you're out there day to day solving those issues that matter to people in their lives, so that's something that I've thoroughly enjoyed.
So 9 years ago at Oakdale, when you came to Oakdale, there was still a lot of development happening, right?
There was.
And what were your responsibilities when you first came to Oakdale? What were your responsibilities? As an intern, I guess.
As an intern, I was working on some of the communications. I was working with some of our department heads, and then also with the City Council. I was working very exclusively with Craig Waldron, and then the Assistant City Administrator at the time, Dan Hartman, and then was helping on some of our economic development programs, which then led later on, when I was hired as city staff, of me becoming the staff liaison to the city's Economic Development Commission. So it was all those initial things that we're working on. The internship program, it provides this wonderful experience to bring somebody in who may not have a lot of local government experience and get them different experiences in different areas. And so you got to see and work with all of the department heads in the city, see what their operations were. Everyone was very welcoming in doing that, because Oakdale has such a very long-standing program. And then you get some experience, and then oftentimes the intern will go to another city hired on as staff, but Dan Hartman had retired at that point in time, and so I was asked to join the Oakdale staff as a full-time employee.
You've been in the right place at the right time all along.
Yes,
all the way,
I've been very,
haven't
I've been
you?
very fortunate.
Yes,
very
you have.
fortunate.
Tell us about that intern program, and I do believe it was Craig Waldron that initiated this.
Yes, he has had a very strong desire to share the opportunities and then also train people for the future. So he's very big into training the next generation of local government professionals. I think through his career he had something around between 30 and 35 interns.
That many?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And several interns after I was at Oakdale as well. And just a very strong desire to help local communities and make sure that we've got talented professionals that can do the work efficiently and effectively on behalf of the public.
You know, it's interesting. There are several of our interns that are now city administrators
Yes.
in other places, correct?
That is correct.
I mean, I'm just thinking of 3 recently that they're all over the place.
And there's several others that are community development directors, economic development directors,
Yes.
working in cities in various roles and functions, finance directors, that type of
Interesting.
roles.
So tell us some of the highlights of your time with Oakdale.
I think that my interaction with the community has been some of the highlights. I've always had just wonderful positive interactions with constituents and residents and local businesses. The other thing that I really enjoyed was working on the Economic Development Commission. It's a very positive, forward-looking group. Really want to help the community, help maintain the community, make sure it's economically viable, make very good recommendations to the City Council, and then working with the Oakdale Business and Professional Association. Just a wonderful people that want to keep Oakdale very strong and vibrant, and so that's just been very, very enjoyable to do that over the years.
Mm-hmm. You know, generally speaking, a lot of other communities don't have these infrastructures like we do, like the OBPA and the planning committee. I mean the EDC. There we go.
Yep.
A lot of places don't have this sort of thing. Is that correct?
Some do and some don't. Oakdale has had a strong history of working with local business and trying to facilitate a lot of communication and then take the recommendations on things that are going on in the city. And so the EDC, the Economic Development Commission, I think was started very probably shortly before Craig Waldron.
About 85 it started.
I would say you're one of the original members on there,
yep.
and has had a lot of longevity and a lot of relevancy on keeping Oakdale very strong and vibrant.
Mm-hmm. So our good friend Craig Waldron, I mean, you worked with him for many, many years.
Yes.
And what can you say about him as a city administrator?
He's an unbelievable class act. His ethics, and then also his professionalism, and then his general desire and passion to teach local government to people, I think is virtually unmatched. And so it was one of the high points of my career at Oakdale was to work with him and help address the challenges that the community was facing, but then also get the the great opportunity to learn from him about how to do the local government profession and learn about that. So that was one of the very neat things that I got to experience.
Now, what were some of the innovations that he started and I think you pursued in the city?
One of the big ones was the Fast Track program, and you can see that being utilized in a couple of projects, and that's where the City Council and the Planning Commission take the full planning process and actually fast track that. And so they set very clear standards from the beginning when the application comes in, and actually some of the major successes that we saw recently were Park Tool, which came into the community, built a very nice facility, and then Hy-Vee most recently, which is just now getting under construction. So it's a way for the Oakdale community to tell the development folks exactly what we're looking for so that they have certainty when they come in and they're investing a lot of time and capital into the community. And so that's worked very, very well for us.
The response I've always heard is that these builders are just absolutely amazed, to say the least, at how fast they can get going and get things done.
Well, and I think that's a credit to the City Council and to the Planning Commission and to the Economic Development Commission, because they're very clear in what the standards are going to be and laying that out ahead of time and then following the process very closely. And so they provide developers with a lot of certainty that they're going to be able to get their projects through very quickly, efficiently, and cost effectively.
You sure have a passion for this, don't you, Dave? I mean, really,
Yep.
I understand you're not doing it anymore, but you do have a passion for this, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I very much enjoyed the 9 years that I spent at Oakdale. It was a joy to go to work
Yes.
and work on, some were challenging issues, but a lot of them were, issues where you could bring the community together and succeed on projects and initiatives and issues. So, yeah.
And I know I've talked to Mayor Serac, who'll be leaving this at the end of this year. One of the biggest factors is the people of Oakdale and how easy it is to work with them. And you must have had the same experience, I bet.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great city council and great mayor, great leadership in setting the tone and the standard for city staff to follow. And so there was very good communication. And again, that's why Oakdale, I think, works as well as it
And also
does.
the citizens of Oakdale, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, what are you doing now?
Actually, I am practicing as an attorney. And so I'm actually with the law firm of Barna, Guzzi, and Steffen out of Coon Rapids, and I'm attached to their government services and employment departments. And so actually what I'm doing is very similar to what I did at Oakdale, just as a city attorney municipal law capacity.
How did this job come about?
It was posted, and I put a resume in there just because of it was mainly municipal and employment law. That's a lot of what I was able to work with our city attorneys at Oakdale. And again, going through the part-time law program, I wanted to see if I could get the opportunity to potentially practice, and that opportunity did come up.
Let's get a little more detailed here. What exactly do you do? I mean, do you go to city council meetings? Are you working for other cities?
Yes,
Is that correct?
We're working for a number of different cities. The firm has 4 main cities that it provides legal services to. But then in terms of the labor context, so that's going to be labor arbitration and contract negotiation, and then also in the employment context, so personnel decisions and management. The firm provides a lot of legal advice on those type of things. It's actually a fully functioning multi-practice firm, so we have attorneys that do just about everything, whether it be personal injury, criminal law, real estate, employment law, wills and trusts, all of that, services that we provide.
How many lawyers are in this firm?
It's just about 30. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so are you attached to any particular cities that you're going to be working with all the time?
Yes. So Scott Lepak is the main city attorney, and I'm working with him. So it's the cities of Becker, Champlin, and St. Francis.
And this is strictly contracting, or among other things, right? But I guess do you sit at the council meetings, and if the council says, well, we're going to do such and you say, well, you can't do that because that's illegal, or that kind of thing? Or do you have other lawyers that do that?
Right now we have other lawyers that do that, but I will be taking that over when they'll be out on vacation coming up here this winter. So I'll be sitting in on city council meetings just like I did at Oakdale, but I'll be over on the city attorney side of things.
That's got to be pretty exciting too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Well, and again, I do have a passion for local government, and so the opportunity to practice in that area has been very exciting and something that I've really enjoyed.
Sure. When you were applying for this job, how did your Oakdale background help you to get this job? I assume it did, didn't it?
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. I've been very fortunate in having a number of experiences and projects that I'm working with the city attorney at Oakdale, and so being able to get some of that experience and then bring that to the table when I was in the interview process.
Mm-hmm. Was this interview process pretty serious when you applied for this job?
Yes, it was. Yes, it
How
was.
serious was it? Tell us.
Well, they were looking for somebody that did have a background in municipal law and had some of that context with labor negotiations, with contract negotiations, arbitrations, grievances, that type of stuff. And so being able to get those experiences at Oakdale did help me.
Did you know any of these lawyers that were interviewing you, or
Yes.
You did?
Yep.
So you had a little...
a number of the attorneys are very well known in the Twin Cities, and so, yes, did know about the firm.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were the assistant to the you were assistant city administrator.
That's correct.
And you had the great potential to be the city administrator when Craig Waldron retired. You were probably first in line, I would say, generally speaking. Now, you had to make a decision here between staying with Oakdale and probably being the city administrator and going to this law firm. How hard was this decision to make?
I'd say it's one of the most difficult decisions of my professional life. I did have to agonize over that because my experience at Oakdale has been absolutely wonderful. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And then also we do have some ties to the community. My wife is actually a teacher at Skyview Community School, and so we do have some history with Oakdale. But the opportunity to practice in municipal law was something that I wanted to try out and have thoroughly enjoyed since I've made that move.
You have. You're happy that you did what you did. Then is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. But realizing that Oakdale was a wonderful place to work for, and I still have those friendships and relationships with the community.
Sure. I bet you lost some sleep trying to decide which way to go.
I did. I lost quite a bit of sleep on that.
I'm sure you did. So how's it going now with the new job?
It's going very, very well. It's going very well. It's been very enjoyable to work on those municipal issues and labor arbitration, labor negotiation issues, just like I did at Oakdale for other cities. So we have both public and private sector clients, but it has been a very good move, and it's been kind of exciting to learn the legal side of things formally.
Okay. Is your wife pretty happy with your decision, or?
Yes. Yep. She's very supportive. She's been very, very supportive of me.
Okay. So what are some of the fond memories that you've had of Oakdale?
I think that some of my interactions with residents in the community and some of our community events have been, some of the greatest memories that I take with me. Whether it's, the tree giveaway, whether it's, having a couple of events at the new Veterans Memorial, the construction and dedication of the Discovery Center. That was something that I was involved in starting off as an intern and then as a young staff member. And then things like the Oakdale Summerfest, where you're out there seeing families. And that was, again, part of my drive to see good done in the community. And that's why, I worked at Oakdale. That's why I went into local government and have been some of the real enjoyable moments to see people just having fun, enjoying themselves in the community.
That's interesting. Now, when you were with Oakdale, did you work with builders coming in and especially commercial properties? Did you deal with the builders at all?
To some extent. That's mainly handled through the building department and the community development department. But usually once they got up and running, we would certainly try to reach out to them and do a business visit to kind of welcome them into the community, and then establish that communication and that relationship to say, if you do need anything from city services, here's a name, here's a contact. And that was something that the city council put very high priority on.
With your new job, are you working with developers and builders again?
Not yet.
Not yet, but that could be coming down the road too.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. On the city attorney side of things, yes.
Again, all these experiences you had from Oakdale, you couldn't put a price tag on it, could you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Well, David, we're out of time right now, but I want to thank you for joining us on Oakdale Update, and I wish you the best of luck in your new endeavors. And don't be a stranger. You come back and see us whenever you get a chance, okay?
I will do that, and thank you for having me, Frank. And again, thank you for the opportunity to serve, Oakdale. It was just a wonderful experience.
And all the people in Oakdale, and we all appreciated you too. You were a good person to have around.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It's almost time for a short break, but first, here's our trivia question. The Discovery Center's indoor market offering homemade baked goods, gourmet foods, sweets, cards, jewelry, and pet items, gifts, and more, open December 6th. Our trivia question is, when was the first indoor market held? Was it 2010, 2011, or 2012? We'll have the answer later in the show. It's time for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of Oakdale Update in just a minute.
Hello everyone, I'm Paul Anderson, host of North St. Paul Notes on Channel 16. North St. Paul Notes is a monthly show that will keep you up to date on the news and events that are of interest to the residents of North St. Paul. This month, we're going to learn about crime prevention and the benefits of Neighborhood Crime Watch. We'll also meet a new member of the North St. Paul Police Department. So make sure you don't miss the December edition of North St. Paul Notes.
Did you know retail crime costs the United States $30 billion every year? Hello everyone, I'm Carrie Crotty.
And I'm Lon Bakey. We're on location this month at the Maplewood Mall, where shoppers are gearing up for the holidays, and so are criminals.
We'll talk about what security measures are in place and what you can do to stay ahead of scammers. We'll also tell you about the greatest gift you can give, and it won't cost you a cent.
Join us for these stories and much more on air and online.
Welcome back to Oakdale Update. We all love to decorate for the holidays with Christmas trees, lights, and wrapping paper on gifts. What can you do with all of that stuff once the holidays are over? Senior Community Development Specialist Jen Hassebroek is here to discuss holiday recycling. Jen, thanks for joining us on Oakdale Update.
Hi, Frank. Thanks for having me.
Okay, now you want to give us a little bit of your background? Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Sure. I grew up in southwestern Minnesota, in a town called Brewster, and I did my undergrad and my graduate degree in public administration here in Minnesota, in St. Cloud and Minnesota State University, Mankato.
Wow.
And I've been in Oakdale for the last 8 years.
So you've got a master's degree in
Public
what?
administration.
Public administration.
Right.
I'll be darned. Okay, so what is your jobs up at City Hall? What do you do?
I'm Senior Community Development Specialist, and I work in the Community Development Department. The main portion of my job is working with our Environmental Commission here in the city of Oakdale. And I also help with redevelopment projects, planning applications, kind of a whole gamut of things.
Just curious, did Craig Waldron help get you this job?
Yeah, I met Craig Waldron in grad school, and
did?
he's helped me along the way, yes.
Was that at Hamlin or where?
Minnesota State.
He was there. He was
Yep.
teaching at the time?
Yep.
I'll be darned. Yeah,
Yep.
that guy, he's brought more good people into our city.
He is,
God
very
bless
much
that
so.
man. Okay, so now let's talk about holiday recycling. What is that all about? What does that mean?
Well, the city has a number of different programs to help people recycle different items from the holidays. One of our biggest programs is the Christmas tree recycling that we do at City Hall. Actually, through the end of January, people can bring their real Christmas trees to Oakdale Public Works, and they will be chipped for a small fee of $3.
So they have and then they use them, don't they, for planting around trees and that
Yep,
kind
they
of
use
thing?
them for mulch throughout the city, so it's a good way to reuse items that people already have in their homes.
Okay. So now lights. What about lights?
Well, oftentimes people will have Christmas lights where a couple of lights burn out and they don't want to use them anymore. And instead of just throwing them in the trash, there's actually a statewide program called Recycle Your Holidays, where you can bring in your holiday lights to a number of different locations throughout the Twin Cities area to be recycled. And one of the drop-off locations is at City Hall here in Oakdale.
What do they do with lights? I mean, I know what I love to do with lights at the end of the season when they don't work and they one bulb here and one bulb there. I'd like to throw them all away, get rid of them. So what do you do with them?
Well, the city actually just has them picked up by the Recycle Your Holidays group. And they actually have a bunch of volunteers who go through and they'll pick the lights off of there, the little stems that the lights are attached to, and then the strings. And they all get recycled separately into different components.
So they actually have people pulling the bulbs out and then taking the wires and
Right.
reusing them?
Yep.
I'll be darned. I wonder how that could be economically.
There's generally some copper in the strings, so that's pretty valuable when you recycle it. And it's also, it's for special needs people that they have working on this program. So it's a great way to get them job skills
Wonderful.
and then reuse materials.
Good. What about papers and that kind of thing? What can you do to recycle those?
Well, generally speaking, tissue paper, wrapping paper, bows aren't recyclable. So if you want to be a little more green with your recycling items, you can use reusable paper bags or cloth bags or wrap your presents in newspaper. There's a lot of creative ideas out there that you can use.
So actually wrapping paper itself is not recyclable?
It's not, unfortunately.
And the tissue inside is not recyclable?
No, the tissue isn't either. The fibers are too small in the tissue paper and the wrapping paper to be reusable.
Okay. Now, packing, let's say you get packages in the mail kind of thing. And what about the styrofoam or anything else, the wrapping inside there? What
The
about that?
styrofoam peanuts and that sort of thing aren't recyclable, but cardboard boxes are if you break them down and you can put them into your recycling bin. So unfortunately, a lot of the packaging materials that are out there aren't necessarily recyclable at this point.
Well, we still have to throw some stuff away, I guess, don't we?
Some of it.
Yes. Now, what else does the city do to help? They do the lights and is there, do they collect food? This is off the subject a little bit, but they collect food up there for?
Yep, we actually do food collection for local food shelves off and on throughout the year, and then also during the holidays we have where you can drop off toys that are handed over.
That's great.
Yeah, so we have a number of different programs. Just come into City Hall and you can find out about it, and they can always call me too at City Hall.
Or they could get on the website too. Would be all covered on that, would it?
Right.
Okay. Okay, our last question is if anybody has needs more information, who would they call and what is your phone number?
They can call me, Jen Hassebroek, at City Hall, and my number is 651-730-2723.
Okay, that'll be up on the screen. One other question, what about ribbons? Are they recyclable or no?
No, generally speaking, they're not.
They aren't, okay. Jen, thanks for joining us today, and it was nice talking to you.
Thanks.
Okay. It's now time for this month's code enforcement reminder, which deals with winter. Just a reminder that there is no on-street parking from 12 to 5 a.m. daily or when there is measurable snow accumulation. Don't plow, shovel, push, or blow snow into the street whether it's been plowed or not. On trash day, set out rubbish and recycling containers just prior to 7 a.m. on your driveway, just behind the curb line. We're just about out of time, but first let's answer a trivia question. We asked you, when was the first indoor market held? The correct answer was C. The first indoor market was held in January 2012. The second year, the market started in December of 2012. This year's market started on December 6th and runs every other Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Discovery Center until March 28th. It's the perfect place to find everything from food to gifts, from homegrown to handcrafted and much more. That's all we have time for. For everyone at the City of Oakdale, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thanks for watching.